We are just about coming up on the half hour, so I kind of want to introduce again what we are talking about tonight. If you're just joining us, first of all, thank you for being with us. Very important topic tonight. We're talking about human trafficking and particularly how it affects the minority community. There is a showing of a documentary coming up on this Thursday. It is free, it is well worth your time, and it is thanks to the Links Group.
Yes.
And Dr. Laura, I'm going to get the Ferguson Mimms. I was like, I'm just going to reverse those. Part of that, president of that organization. Give us a quick rundown of what is happening Thursday.
I will. So we're the Parthenon Chapter of the Links. We're a chapter of an international organization called the Links Incorporated. And this Thursday, is that July 28th?
Yes.
At 6:30, we will be showing the documentary Surviving Sex Trafficking, and we'll have the director Sadhvi Shri there. And immediately following the showing of the documentary, there will be a panel discussion of subject matter experts. And again, our goal is to amplify the message and compel people to action and advocacy. And so the experts will be there to tell us the next steps. As Margie has already said, everyone can do something.
Yep.
This happens to be a field that no one in our chapter was intimately aware of. But even knowing that, we know that we each have a part to play in addressing that issue, whether it's showing the documentary, sharing this information within our network of friends, sharing it with our faith-based communities, writing checks. There's a multitude of ways to be engaged. But what we can't do is sit back and hope the problem will rectify itself, because it most assuredly will not.
It's just growing right now.
Absolutely.
Which is very scary because there have been some great efforts, particularly in this area, to combat it. Margie, you have been at this for a long time now. Kind of take us through your history with human trafficking.
Yeah, so I was with the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, as a special agent. I have about 26 years in law enforcement. In 2007, I got promoted into the Fusion Center, the Tennessee State Fusion Center, and I took over programs like the Amber Alert program and the Missing Children's Clearinghouse. And it was in doing that work on missing kids that I started to understand that some of Tennessee's missing kids were being trafficked. And I say a lot, once you know that, you can never not know it. And so I just was fortunately in a position to really start to do something about that. We did some early research with Vanderbilt, partnered with Vanderbilt, and returned that to the General Assembly in 2011, and we started passing laws. And we started advocating for education and awareness. We passed things like mandatory training for all law enforcement in the state. We know that that's had tremendous impact on our crime statistics. And so, because education and training we've got to do that in order to try to get our hands around some of these issues facing our communities. And so I retired from TBI in 2018, leading the human trafficking unit at TBI, transitioned over to End Slavery Tennessee in 2019 as their CEO, advocating for victim services, victims' rights. And about a year and a half ago, of course, we announced a record and historic investment by Governor Bill Lee to the tune of $3.5 million. We are about to open the doors on a new survivor restoration campus here in Davidson County. And so now I'm going to be transitioning out of the agency, and the governor has appointed me as the next commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, a position that I am excited to assume on September 1st, but nervous, and it's a big department, but I'm going back into state government. I'm used to working statewide, so I'm very optimistic about what we can do there.
Margie, you know that our new Channel 5 Investigates has really had an eye on DCS for a long time. It is fraught with problems. Why would you want this job?
Because I think I can positively have an impact on children's lives. I think you can, on any job, I think it's incumbent upon any person when they're thinking about taking any position to list the pros and the cons. Right? And so you list the cons for any position, and when the top line says positively impact the life of a child, I'm not really sure anything that comes after that means as much. And so again, I feel like I'm in a position to be able to make a difference. There are great women and men in the department working hard every day to serve children in need, and I'm going to be excited to walk alongside them, lead them and walk with them as we hopefully reform children's lives.
You have a little bit of time before actually ending your tenure at in slavery and then starting with the state once again.
Right.
What are those wheels mostly churning about right now?
Actually, I was talking to our going to be acting CEO, Leah Moyer, who is going to join us on our last segment, but I want to make sure that I do justice to the last 3 weeks that I have here at In Slavery, Tennessee. I want to be fully focused, laser focused on the things that we still have on the drawing board at In Slavery, Tennessee. We're moving out of phase 1 in development of our restoration campus and into phase 2. And so I want to make sure that I leave the agency in great hands, and I'm going to leave it in great hands. The board has voted to transition me onto the board, and so I'll do a year in board membership so that we maintain continuity and I can help the acting CEO and the permanent CEO as much as or as little as they need it. You don't want to like stick your nose in when it doesn't belong.
Don't stay too long.
Right, but you know, we have a lot. We cast a really bold vision a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And that's important to me. I'm going to be a lifelong ally of In Slavery, Tennessee. I'm going to be with this agency in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to be on the board. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to write checks. I'm going to go to the events, and I'm going to advocate for this agency because I think the work they do is so critical to restoring lives in Middle Tennessee.
And even within the Department of Children's Services, there is a problem with sex trafficking because especially when you're dealing with foster children who have been abused or neglected, you're still going to be in it.
Yeah, I think this platform will amplify my voice and give me an opportunity to promote those public-private partnerships that I know work so well. I formed a lot of public-private partnerships while at the TBI in order to propel this issue in the state. And so I look forward to doing that with community partners all over the state with DCS because government is not the answer. Government makes a poor parent. And so we've got to look to our community partners to assist us, aid us, help us in fulfilling the mission of providing those services to children in need.
Let's get to the phone lines. We have Mary on the line. Mary, thank you for calling in tonight.
Yes, thanks for taking my phone call.
Sure.
I wanted to tell Miss Quin that I spent about an hour with her today on her PowerPoint. I'm a Metro school teacher, and it's mandatory that we take her class. And it's very informative and gives scaffolding and communication on what to do if you suspect you see human trafficking. So I just wanted to let her know. I spent the day with her, spent part of my day with her.
Now you get to spend part of your night with her.
That's right.
Mary, I do want to say just from to you, good luck this school year. We are rooting for you and wishing you the very best and thankful that we have great people in the classroom.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You.
Have a good one. I think that's important for all of our teachers to hear right now. Is a big,
they have our
you
support.
got this.
And that is a great example of a public-private partnership because we partnered with the state of Tennessee to form up to form the training for all teachers when they passed the law. Representative Mary Littleton out of Dixon passed the law. 6 high school students at Dixon County wrote the law.
That's impressive.
Because they wanted to impact, that they understood the impact that trafficking had on children, high school kids.
Wow.
They wrote it passed, and we were asked to design the training and put it out there. So it's on our online platform on our website, www.enslaverytn.org. The training for all corrections is on that website as well. And we have training that's supposed to be facilitated for teens and tweens that's on the website as well.
Accessible,
it's age appropriate.
accessible to anybody.
It's free,
which is so important. If you're a parent out there, grandparent out there, teacher, social worker, whatever, you can access it because you just never know where you are throughout your day, where you go. I do want to ask about Nashville particularly, and we're this great, booming, wonderful town that we all enjoy living in. But when we have these big events in town like CMA Fest, the NFL Draft, you name it, we have so many. It is a particularly dangerous time where trafficking happens here.
It does, but it happens every day. I know that we get super amped up around Super Bowls and other big events and conventions. The work that we did in the Fusion Center to analyze whether or not there were increased numbers of online ads around some of these events, we didn't see it.
Oh, really?
We never saw an increase around the NFL Draft, around the Titans game, around the SEC tournament, or any of those things where you think lots of men are coming in town.
Yes.
The NRA convention, we looked at all of it. We don't see an increase in the number of ads. Now, more people in town means more crime. More people translates into more crime. And so, to that extent, yes, there's more. But not necessarily because, there's nothing about the NFL
Sure.
that makes trafficking happen. But it is a great platform to advocate for the issue. So if we can do a lot of advertising, awareness during things like NFL games, Super Bowls, drafts, other sporting events, conventions, then that's a great platform to do that. And we know that a lot of times when conventions come in, sometimes these big companies will say, okay, we want to support a nonprofit while we're in town. And so we want to partner with the Convention Bureau to be that nonprofit that sometimes gets selected by those visiting businesses.
That's wonderful. Laura, I want to ask you, as someone who admittedly said, I really hadn't thought too much about this. I had heard about it, kind of knew about it, not too much, really hadn't gone in depth. Now, obviously, you have looked at the situation, you've looked at what's happening here, you've seen the documentary. What are your takeaways for your life? For you watching out for?
Yeah, I think more than anything, as Margie said it is the TSA mantra, if you see something, to say something. Because so many times you feel like, well, I'm just walking this path, it's not my concern. But as a person that's part of a community, it is my concern, it's your concern, it's your concern, it's everyone's concern. That's what makes a great city. I think about 100 people a day are moving to Nashville, and so many wonderful businesses and industry coming. Right now, it's the tale of two cities. So if something's going to change, Superman's not coming. No one's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves, and that includes being a concerned and committed citizen. So really being aware of the issues in our community that seek to tear it apart, that seek to not allow us to be the greatest city that we can be. Nashville is an incredible place to live. It's my home and I'm proud of it, but we can do better. And we must do better because young people and women and survivors are counting on us to do better. So I think I feel this greater sense of commitment to be not only aware, but to allow that awareness to compel me to action.
Right. You can't just stop knowing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You gotta push forward.
Absolutely.
And spread the word. How long did this all take to come together, bringing the documentary
It came together fairly quickly, I think over the course of 3 months or so.
That is great.
Because when you're committed to something and you see there's a need and you get a group of concerned people together, you make it happen. Yeah.
I know, I'm sure all your members will be there.
They will be.
I'm sure you have extended that reach as you can.
We have. We're super excited about Thursday.
And the Belcourt has seating for
300. The theater we're in is 300.
Okay. Okay. And tickets are still available?
Tickets are still available. I think at last count we were right below 200.
Okay.
So we're hoping to have a packed house.
Well, there's always that last push.
And people that don't even get the ticket.
Right.
Which is fine.
Just come.
They just show up.
Yes. And it's free. We want to stress that. This is absolutely
free. It's 100% free. We just want to have a count. We do have a memento that we want to share with everyone that will kind of force them to think a little bit more deeply about this issue. It's kind of a call to action. So we do want an accurate count.
Sure.
But if we have space, we will not turn anyone away.
This is so important
It
to
is.
you, I can
It
tell.
is. It
And to your
really is.
members.
Absolutely.
There has to be an excitement around it, like, hey, we're going to do something, and this is the first step.
There's a real excitement about what can we do that's going to make a serious and significant difference in our community. And this is one of the ways we can do that.
Yeah, and the Links is about community service and just the community in general.
Absolutely. So Parthenon has been around for over 35 years, involved in various projects, women's health, heart health, breast cancer awareness and treatment, the arts for youth, STEM programs, you name it. Where we see a need, we come together as a group of concerned citizens and address it.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
So very neat.
Yeah.
How long have you been involved?
I've been a Link for a long time. For a very long time. 22 years. Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, that's a lot of service.
It is,
then. That's
it
what
is a lot
tells
of
me.
service, yeah.
And you are the president this year of the
I am the
organization.
president this year. This is my last year of my presidency, so come out, support us. We want to just do everything we can to spread, as I say, amplify, advocate, advocate.
Very good.
Yeah.
But it's already time for us to take another commercial
Okay.
break. When we come back, much more.
Yeah.
Stay with us.